This is something MMA fans say or hear all the time. The UFC fighters are the best, period. They don't seem to give any chance to fighters in other promotions. But is it really that simple? Or are we just a little biased? Recently, we have had some interesting cases to look into, mostly involving fighters who have transitioned from the PFL to the UFC and vice versa. First, Bellator legend Patricio "Pitbull" Freire. The pride of Brazil, the storm that ruled Bellator. Pitbull walked through 2 divisions and left a trail of champions behind him. He was one of the most dominant fighters in Bellator history. Next, former champ Patchy Mix. He was a great champion, a grappling wizard with the finishing instincts of a predator. He didn't just win, he drowned opponents, breaking them down with precision and patience. And the last one, Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico was a national wrestling champion and a knockout artist in Bellator. Blending his wrestling precision, striking power, and raw determination, he was called the Future. Shockingly, those elite fighters crossed over to the UFC and got embarrassed in their first fight. They didn't even get a chance to face the champions. They were defeated by contenders, albeit top contenders. These outcomes seem to indicate that the UFC is superior to other promotions. But is it that simple? Yes, if it were a movie or an animation. The reality is a bit more complex. GSP, who is said to be one of the greatest, seems to agree. He said, "I don't think anyone is truly the greatest. There's a scenario with 3 fighters where A beats B, B beats C, and C beats A. This shows that no one is universally superior. When you're a champion, it's because you beat a specific person on a specific night, not because you're better than everyone on the roster. The idea of a single GOAT is an illusion." With that in mind, let us look into other cases. Fighters who transitioned from the UFC to the PFL. First, Quaylon Logren. He had a 2-2 UFC record and transitioned to the PFL. In his debut fight, he was defeated by Jack Cartwright, who took the fight on 3 weeks' notice. Next, Mark Diakes, the UFC veteran. He was very confident coming over to the PFL, saying there is level to this game. But then this happened.
Really moves out of the way. Body kick caught. Dumps Giacchesi to the back. And now hammering away. Wow! Holy smoke! Another KO for Daki!
Yeah, it didn't even take 1 minute for a PFL fighter to finish off a UFC veteran. And there is another case, Kayla Harrison, who was the 2-time PFL champion. After her loss to Larissa Pacheco, Kayla transitioned to the UFC, remained undefeated there, and became the champion. I am not saying the UFC fighters are not great. I am just saying talent can be everywhere, whether that be UFC, PFL, or other promotions. It is too one-dimensional simply to say UFC fighters beat fighters in other promotions. So, let's not limit the promise of fighters just based on where they fight, whether it be UFC, PFL, or somewhere else. After all, talent can be anywhere. That is why we love this sport, as we get to see the fireworks when 2 talents collide. Thank you for watching.